Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Kenny Wallace Show, brought to you by JEGS. Remember, if you need any high-performance aftermarket car parts, go to jegs.com. We have a sponsor at the Kenny Wallace Show. Check it out. Where's it at? Over there. JEGS. Oh, they've been with me for 17 years. I love JEGS. Everybody up there in Delaware, Ohio. So welcome, JEGS. All right, let's get right to it. The 65th running of the Daytona 500. Haven't you ever wondered where did those other 10 years go? So we start off the Daytona 500 celebrating 75 years. 75 years of NASCAR. They're making a big deal out of it. But it was the 65th running of the Daytona 500. What a race. What a race. I was highly entertained. Ricky Stenhouse won it. 2007 was Ricky Stenhouse's last win, and it was at Daytona. Now, this was a very popular win, and here's why. Because Ricky is one of those good guys. But I never knew that a lot of people don't like Ricky Stenhouse, and I just don't know why. I'm friends with Ricky, so I'm trying to figure out what is he's a little aggressive maybe in his early days. Maybe he wrecked some people, but for the most part, you saw it in Victor Lane. Everybody, all the drivers, Ryan Blaney, Kyle Larson, they all came up to Ricky Stenhouse and congratulated him on the win. And plus, Ricky is from the most awesome town, Olive Branch, Mississippi. Say that, Ricky Stenhouse, the Daytona 500 winner from Olive Branch, Mississippi. Now, Ricky deserved the win, okay? And here's why. He made a bold move. He came from like 7th or 9th and passed all those cars coming off at turn 2 on the high side, tucked back inside, and that put him in position to capitalize and line up side by side with Joey Logano. Remember, I chose Joey Logano to win the race. So not too bad for the Herminator. I got second in the Daytona 500. But let's break it down, okay? Let's talk about the Daytona 500. The first stage was very exciting. And this is my star of the race. Charlie Marlowe, our producer, is going to remind me now. The Herminator is going to have star of the race. You know, they do this in hockey. Star of the whole Daytona 500, Brad Keselowski. He wins the first stage. His teammate, Chris Buescher. Look, they put Roush Fenway Racing back on the map. Jack Roush said, look, I'm getting old, man. I got to hire somebody to run Roush Fenway. They sure did. They went out and I think Jack Roush saw that Brad Keselowski was a business type. So winning, strong. Brad Keselowski was strong, and he won the first stage. All right, my notes say that, it was a big moment for them, right? Roush Fenway, Buescher, they looked good, especially after Brad Keselowski did not even qualify for the Coliseum race out there in California. Made him feel bad, but, Brad did not get the finish that he wanted in the Daytona 500, but he was there. Now Buescher did. Let me see. Buescher ended up 4th. We're going to talk about the top 10 in just a minute. All right, let's go to the second stage. Shows up again. He's the real deal. Ross Chastain. Ross Chastain's the real deal. That second stage, that got wild. 6-car wreck. Harvick got into Tyler Reddick. That was over in turns 3 and 4. And we saw this the whole race. This was all the wrecks. This was 99 to 100% of all the wrecks in the Daytona 500. It was pushing, and if your car did not handle good, there was a lot of guys driving in the Daytona 500 like this, loose, and boy, you could see it. And if anybody breathed on them, it spun them out. So Harvick, all he did was breathe on Reddick. And, after the race or in the post-race interview, Reddick was like, he didn't blame Harvick on it because I guess Reddick's car did not handle that good. If you're going to take a shove, you got to be solid, and that's up to your team to get that car handling good, making sure it's solid. All right, listen to this. 36 laps to go. Number 36, Kenny Wallace. 36 laps to go. 7 Fords were in line. Now, it all came down to, are the Fords going to line up? Are the Toyotas going to line up? Are the Chevrolets going to line up? In the end, there were so many damn wrecks that not a one of them were able to line up. Now, speaking of so many wrecks, I didn't really feel like it was that long, but this was the longest running Daytona 500 in its 65 years. 212 laps. I don't care about laps. I don't know if they went by time or laps, but they made a big deal out of it. Longest running Daytona 500 ever. Listen, it came down to Ricky Stenhouse getting in position. There were so many times you and I thought, well, it looks like Kyle Busch is going to win it. Well, it looks like Joey Logano is going to win it. Hey, it looks like Kyle Larson going to win it. I mean, they were wrecking their ever-living asses off. It was Wreck City, USA. Now, listen, you go back through the history of super speedway racing, this is the way it is. The great Dick Trickle said it right. You must first finish. Say it with me. You must first finish to finish first, right? So we want to be there at the end of the Daytona 500. Now, I thought this race had it all, and I keep saying had it all. They ran side by side, bumper to bumper, 90% of the race, stage 1, stage 2, and all the way to the end. You fans are very hard to please. I don't know what you want because they're side by side, and you're like, this race is boring. Then if they wreck too much, it was a wreck fest. So there's no pleasing some of you. Let me back up on that. There's a small percentage now that you're just not going to please you. But for the most part, I'm going to tell you what, that place was sold out. 100,000 people in the grandstands. Listen, I don't want to hear about they took grandstands away, okay? Go to any of your stadium, any of your arenas, anywhere in the world, 100,000 people. Okay, I know, the blue, the big house, Michigan. I get it, but still it don't matter. 100,000 people, okay? It's a lot of people. Google it. It's a lot of people. Now, the big thing was all the partying in the infield. It was 150,000 people was the total count. So, just because you don't like NASCAR, everybody likes NASCAR. Now, there's some of you that can't go to a race. You get on social media. Oh, by the way, coming up next is Complain with Kenny. Oh, you guys are going to love this. We're going to get all the bitching and moaning out of the way. Complain with Kenny will be coming up next after our Daytona 500 breakdown. So, the race was exciting. It was exciting stage 1, exciting stage 2, stage 3, 36 laps to go, 7 Fords lined up. You know what's coming, right? You know, and I know. They're going to wreck. We watched earlier in the week, all of Speed Weeks. It started on with the truck race. They wrecked, and they finished under. They gave them all these chances, right? They just kept wrecking. The truck race finished under caution. Not under caution, but this is your last chance. White flags in the air. We know the rules. We know the rules. The rules have been out for, 10 years? I mean, how many more chances do we give them to eliminate the whole field? A lot of you don't like wrecking anyway. Oh, by the way, look at this stat. Check it out. 4 cars finished the race with no damage. Ricky Stenhouse was the winner with no damage. Joey Logano, no damage. Christopher Bell, no damage. Chris Buescher, no damage. The 5th place car was in that last wreck. The 5th place car, Bowman. AJ Allmendinger, yeah, he had been wrecked up. He went through the grass. He got 6th. Suarez was 7th. Blaney was 8th. He was destroyed. Unbelievable. Blaney finished 8th. He was destroyed. Ross Chastain, he had been in all them wrecks. He was 9th. Listen to this. Riley Herbst finished 10th. He was the last man standing. Everybody from 10th on back was destroyed. So, 36 laps to go. Once again, I've already said it. all the wrecks start happening, and let's get right down to it. We got Austin Dillon getting ready to push Kyle Busch to the Daytona 500 win, and this is going to be a glorious time for Richard Childress, and it's wrecking galore, right? And then listen, we can lay it all out. We've already addressed it so many times. We thought your guy was going to win it with 2 or 3 laps to go. They kept restarting. I think, what was there, 3 green, white checkers, 2 maybe? So in the end, Ricky Stenhouse is in the right place, right time. I know a lot of people say it depends on who pushes that button for that yellow flag. But listen, TV had it covered. Ricky Stenhouse deserved it. He made the move. Hey, I'll tell you what, I think I could argue with you on this one. I think Ricky Stenhouse passed the most cars at one time to win the Daytona 500. He came off of turn 2, blew by 6 or 7 cars to get into second. He made the move. He deserved it. He was leading. Listen, they start wrecking. We show this in slow motion. What happens is Pastrana gets tagged in the back by Eric Almirola, right? Eric Almirola hits Travis Pastrana. He hits the right rear of Larson, sends him in the wall. Caution. There it is. There's over 20 cameras. When the caution comes out, boom. There he is. Stenhouse is leading the race. And here's the deal. Here's another reason Stenhouse deserves to win. Because he was moving back past Joey Logano. Now, remember, I don't got no skin in the game. I chose Joey Logano to win the race. So, Joey Logano runs second. Ricky Stenhouse is the winner. Good guy wins the Daytona 500. That's exciting. Let's wrap up the Daytona 500 breakdown like this. My star of the race was Brad Keselowski because he made a big comeback. He looked good. He was roughed up last year in his very first year with Roush. My Travis Pastrana thoughts. Guys, the guy's got more broken bones than Evel Knievel. Everybody loves Travis Pastrana. He's an X Games guy. He's an entertainer. Everybody loves Travis Pastrana. And listen, he did good. He went out to the Volusia Speedway, got himself a Gator, although it was in a lesser feature. He still got himself a Gator. He came and ran real good in the truck race, and he ran real good in the Daytona 500. Now, we know that is the track, Daytona or Talladega. Look, I'm going to say it right now. We know that if you want to show up, and put a big splash in, it's going to be Daytona or Talladega. Those are the easiest tracks to get up to speed. You go to the other tracks, it's all you got to drive. It takes a lot of technique. So kudos to Travis Pastrana for choosing this. It all worked out. Denny Hamlin was his car owner. He had a good car. He had a good sponsor. Was that Black Rifle Coffee? And so good for Travis Pastrana. Last but not least, for our Daytona 500 breakdown, how about a feel-good story? Jimmy Johnson, our 7-time champ. What is he doing? Why is he even coming back? He said, look, he did the 2-year deal. My whole Jimmy Johnson breakdown was he reminded me of Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, greatest basketball player of all time, said he's going to go play baseball, right? That's what Jimmy now, Michael Jordan said he was going to go play baseball. Didn't work out. went back to basketball. I think Jimmy tried it all. I know Jimmy was upset with NASCAR, burnt out. Now he loves NASCAR. So he came back. And how about GMS Motorsports? They chose Jimmy Johnson. I've been saying Joey Logano so much that Joey Logano, Jimmy Johnson. That's a mouthful. So Jimmy Johnson, it was laid out there for him, kind of like a Tony Stewart deal, right? Tony Stewart, Gene Haas said, hey, Tony, come on over here. Tony ends up getting all the right people because he's a winner, and they take off and they win. I think GMS is looking at Jimmy Johnson like that. Hey, we're going to play you in. GMS, they're already wealthy. They own Allegiant Airlines, so the money's there, but they need the people. So I think GMS said, hey, Jimmy Johnson, come on over here, and you'll inevitably get all the quality people, and GMS will be a quality team very soon once Jimmy Johnson's able to recruit, some people maybe from Hendrick Motorsport. We'll see. But anyway, Jimmy is running like 7th or 9th with 2 laps to go, and he gets in the wreck. What are you going to do? But Jimmy was happy. Now listen, Jimmy says he's only going to run 5 races this year. The next one is supposed to be at the Chicago Street Course. Who knows what's going to happen? Takes a lot of money to run these races. Each race, to do it right, is, listen, for these high-end teams, $500,000. It takes about $1 million per race for Jimmy to get the money he wants, to get these teams up and running. So, all right, I think we broke the Daytona 500 down. Remember to respond right here. Listen, I see your comments. I see them all. Hard to respond. Charlie Morrow, our YouTube manager, he sees them. We love it when you respond. Give me your opinion. Remember, Complain with Kenny's going to be coming up next, so we're going to make a whole show. But this show is about the Daytona 500. We're not going to complain about what happened. We'll do that in the Complain with Kenny. So remember to subscribe right here on YouTube. And remember, we are in podcast form, iTunes and Spotify. All right. Until the next show, we'll see you later.